Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Blues Fan TV. I hope you guys are, keeping well. Big shout out to, everyone. Big shout out to the family. People that have subscribed, people that have, really showed us love on this channel. I want to say a big thanks to you. And I hope the sky is the limit. We just want to build a family, amazing people, that we can always connect together to care and talk about Chelsea FC. That's the main, goal. That's the main objective. And I know, and I'm very sure you guys are in support of this. I know you wanted this. You want a different atmosphere where you can express yourself every time, now and then. So yes, guys, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Once you subscribe, we keep, growing as a family, and don't forget to like and share, because that's the only way these videos can go viral to I mean, all other Chelsea fans, and they can also be part of the family. So we're back here for Everton versus Chelsea match review. We've got to talk about it. We've got to see how we go into this game. And yes, of course, Casey is also back on the channel to give us his own ideas and orientation. 1 second, my I think I need to put the tab on charge. So guys, just give me a minute to quickly get this done before we keep going, because we it won't be nice to see that everything turned off at the
Nowhere.
beginning of our preview. So I'm just gonna do some little bit of plugging in and stuff like that. So just spare me a minute. Yeah, I think we should be fine. We should be fine. So Casey, talk to us after that shambolic performance against PSG. Uh, what are you thinking about the game tomorrow? Everton away from home again.
It's going to be a tough game. I mean, after the shambolic, embarrassing performance that we saw on, I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah,
If
Wednesday, bro.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wednesday. Since that embarrassing performance, I mean, I've had a lot of time to reflect and think about, my comments. And I feel like 95% of the comments that I've said, it still stays the same. I think
Mhm.
Rosinha, this job is too big for him. I think a lot of the players, they're not Chelsea material. The main culprits, Blueco, they are criminals. But as much as we have so many problems right now with the club, it won't be an acceptable excuse for us to not get a result at Everton. Everton, I believe, have been quite inconsistent this season. But if you look at the league table, I think they're eighth or ninth in the league table. So
If
they are.
if yeah, I think we're just 5 points away from these guys, bro.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. So they are actually having a pretty decent season. They've got a very good manager. I think quite underrated in David Moyes because he's always consistent. He
Yeah.
gets the job done. They've got really good football players like Jordan Pickford, Iliman Ndiaye, Brantwaite, Gay,
Dewsbury, oh man,
Gay,
this season, bro.
Ghana. They've got some really talented football players.
Yeah,
Dewsbury Hall, who's been absolutely outstanding for them this season.
yeah, yeah.
In their new stadium as well, the Hill Dickinson Stadium.
Mhm.
They Yeah, home record has been quite shaky of recent, but
Yeah,
overall their home record has been very good. So it's going to be a tough game tomorrow. Like every single Premier League game is always going to be a tough game. But if these players and especially this manager wants to redeem himself and get the fans back on his side, a result a result tomorrow won't necessarily do the job, but it will help build the burnt bridges that was caused after the PSG game. So it's a
yeah,
big game. It's a big game, and this is what you could technically say is our second to third last easiest game that we
yeah.
have, because the next couple games that we have, oh man, it's
It's,
gonna be very, 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 very tough to say the least. So yeah.
yeah, like you said, I think if we don't make things up tomorrow, it's gonna be difficult, bro. Everything related to Chelsea this season is gonna be difficult
Mm,
because going into the last 7 games, it's unbelievable. It's it's not realistic. Nothing is assured because we're playing Man City, we're playing United, we're playing Spurs. As poor as Spurs is, you can't still look down on them because at that junction, they probably might be at the last breath of their life of avoiding relegation. So that game might be a battle. So it's Everton again. Last five Everton games has not been really great. They've lost three. I think the only game they won is against Newcastle and maybe Fulham or so. I'm not quite sure. And I was just spoke to Alex from Everton, and he was like, the performance at home is really terrible this season. I mean, maybe the fact that they've moved from that massive atmosphere from Goodison Park to the new stadium, sometimes can really, you know. But the question is, are we going to take advantage of, the fact that we have not really been in a good position as well? But it's a match that we've got to win. And Everton at home has not been really great as well. So how are we going to go into this game tomorrow and get 3 points? Because I don't even think a draw tomorrow can be entertained. It's not even a draw tomorrow is just like a loss. Because at
Mm.
the end of the day, at the end of the week, we might find ourselves in, you know, Brentford might come ahead of us. And
Yeah.
a draw tomorrow to me will means a lot. Will means that I don't even know how to explain this, bro.
Yeah, I know. I completely understand.
Yeah.
This is what happened. This is what Chelsea does to you. Um, Tomorrow, I don't know how we're going to go about it because, as you've seen, Chalobah, with his injury, I believe he's out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We're so
At
lucky it's not
least.
even longer than that. If you saw the images of the tackle, it was really, really bad. But thank God
Yeah.
it's a lot less severe as it's supposed to be. But he's out for 6 weeks. Reece James is out. We've got no wingers. I think Garnacho is our only winger that we have.
Yeah. I think Neto is suspended, is it?
Neto is I believe he's suspended as well. Actually, no. Neto's back.
I think
That's
it's
for Champions
available.
League.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was for UEFA, so he's back. But it doesn't really make a difference, does it? We're short on centre backs, we're short on wingers, we're short on midfielders. Obviously, Enzo coming out with what he said on Wednesday. I just don't think the team morale is there. I don't think the players will be up for the game tomorrow. But as you said, we need to get a win. We're sixth. We're a point behind Liverpool. We're 3 points in front of Brentford. If we get a point and Brentford win, they close the gap to one. If we lose, they tie us, but we'll only be sixth because we've got a superior goal difference to them. If we lose and Liverpool win, then that's 4 points ahead of us. If United win, that's going to be 6 points ahead of us. Us getting Champions League now will be almost virtually impossible. It will be very, very unlikely. So a game like this tomorrow, as you said, is absolutely essential that we win. Because if you look at our run of games, we've got Port Vale next in the FA Cup quarter final. But then afterwards, we've got City at home, United at home, we've got Brighton away, Forest at home, who are fighting for survival in the Premier League, Liverpool away, Tottenham at home, who are going to be fighting as well to stay in this Premier League. And the final game of the season is a trip away to Sunderland, who we lost to at the start of the season. And I believe this season they've only lost 2 games at home. So it's a really, really tough end to the season that we have. And this could have been easily avoided if we had just gotten if we had just finished off our food against the likes of Burnley, against the likes of Leeds, gotten wins against those guys, gotten wins against the likes of Newcastle. But this is the situation we're in now where every single game is a must win game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I was so worried about what Enzo Fernandez, the interview. I think it's just unnecessary in this point. I don't know
Honest.
what the media is all about these days. Like, we've just lost to PSG for God's sake. Let's have a breathing space. I don't know who you know, I just think it's terrible, bro. It's terrible. We honestly know that when you sign a contract for a football club, anything can change at any time, you know. But sometimes when people ask you that sort of controversy question in that middle of when you just lost against PSG, when you're thinking that have I really done much for this football club? Have I really put in a good performance tonight? And that sort of question came in, which to me has cost a lot. Because when you think about how the news came out, after the game, people were like, "What's this again? Like we've just lost to PSG, and now you're saying one of the most expensive player in the squad, especially the captain of the team, because James is out now. He's gonna be
Mm,
putting
mm.
the captain ban for maybe the next 5 6 weeks, or maybe even the rest of the season, because no one knows when James is coming back. So to have that sort of statement from your captain after losing to PSG, to me, I feel like it doesn't really make any sense.
It
And
does.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, sorry. It doesn't. It doesn't. And as you said, it was so unnecessary. But from reports that came out after his comments, it stemmed from this stupid contract negotiation. We know what Gluco and Clear Lake are trying to do with the whole wage structure format,
yeah,
capping people at 150, but I believe it's 200 because if they were capping people at 150, they would have
yeah,
told Reece James to take a reduction of 150k a week. But he's reduced his wages from 250 to 200. So I personally believe it is 200 because Enzo's on 180 or 190,
yeah.
190, on
Hmm.
190 a week. Now, from what the reports are saying, I believe they offered him an increase of 10k a week from 190 to 200. This
To
is something that
200. Yeah.
we actually discussed about on Chelsea Fan TV. Scott brought up a good point. As Enzo Fernandez, if you put yourself in Enzo Fernandez's shoes, his goal to assist ratio, his goal contributions stats are ridiculous for a midfielder. He actually does produce output. Now, his overall game might not always be the best. He might be inconsistent, but when you need a goal and an assist, he can get you a goal and an assist. So the fact that he's rejected a contract extension, it tells me that the contract that they were offering him was almost an insult. Because wherever you are, this is not even football, this is just in life in general. When you are at a
Absolutely.
place of work and they're offering you a wage increase because they appreciate the hard work that you've given them, the
Yeah.
wage increase needs to represent the value and the appreciation that you
For
have. Now,
yeah.
10k a week, an increase of 10k a week, okay, that's a lot of money. But in footballing terms, that isn't a lot. And with Enzo's talent, he could easily command 300k plus a week at another club,
Yeah.
i.e., a Real Madrid, i.e., a PSG. So,
Mhm.
with him making them comments after the game, was it helpful? No. Was it selfish? Yes. But do I understand why he made the comments in that
Uh,
moment? Yeah, I can
yeah.
understand.
100%.
On
Yeah.
top of the fact, you promised him, reports are coming out that they promised him that they're going to build the team around him. The team is going to be competing. The team is going to be of a high level. And I can't, and if you're Enzo, you believe that because of, before Bluco took over, Chelsea were one of the most competitive teams in the world.
Yeah.
There was a stat saying in the 21st century, we've won the most trophies within the first
Yeah.
since the
Yeah.
2010s.
100%. Yeah.
So you believe them. You believe them when they say this.
Yeah.
But ever since you've been there, you've had to change manager after manager after manager after manager. You've had to adapt to new playing styles. You've had to adapt to new players. Players have come and gone. There's just been a big level of instability, whilst he's still been able to produce somewhat for our club. So at this point, he's thinking, why do I need to be here? I'm a talented player that can go to a big club and can
Yeah.
win big trophies.
Yeah.
And Enzo is just the start. If we're not careful, we're going to see the likes of
Palmer.
Caicedo, Palmer, um, Reece James. I don't know about Reece James because Reece James is just
Yeah.
blue for
Yeah.
now. I
I
can't
think I think
keep
I
doing
think he's
that.
got nowhere to go because
Yeah,
I think he's
Cucurella,
got yeah.
exactly. Cucurella, Malo Gusto. We're gonna see the top players now saying, you know what, I can't deal with this nonsense anymore. I need to get a
Yeah.
move away.
Yeah.
So Enzo Fernandez coming out and saying what he said wasn't helpful, but I can understand his point of view, and I can't blame him because who wants to play for
Yeah.
a club like this right now? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason why Jeremy Jacquet didn't want to come to Chelsea, even if Chelsea
Absolutely.
had money.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
would have still ended up going to Liverpool because
Yeah.
there's no structure, because there's no vision, because you can quite clearly see that the club is on a
It's
down
been
on a
run
downward
just like
spot.
it's just been run on that, and
Exactly.
you can also remember that Enzo Fernandez signing was one of the most controversial signing in football history.
Yeah.
We tried to bring him on,
Mm.
I think, in January or in summer. Benfica were restricting. They were. I think there
Yes.
was a little bit of
There was a physical
fight
fight.
in between his signing
There
and
was a
stuff like
physical
that.
fight, full on physical. It almost turned physical to get Enzo
Yeah,
to
so
come to Chelsea. You
so
know.
I think when if he does think about all these things, it was like, and like you said, I've said this several times that we're gonna get in trouble at the end of the day with this blue co whatever rubbish they're trying to do. Because when you look at the analysis, for a 5 year old boy will know that what these guys are doing will never be productive, you know, because you're signing young players, you know, in the perspective of selling them. So what about those guys that has got the stability in the team? So you're telling them there's a limit to what they can achieve because you can't achieve anything while you keep rotating managers, rotating
Mm,
players. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of
mm,
the day, these guys are gonna look like. So what's the benefit of being in this club? We're probably in this club just being used because they're just using us for stability, to meet up with the normal, kind of stability. And at the end of the day, because you can't win anything, you can't go far without, you know, keeping players. You can't go far without keeping players. If you keep selling and buying, the stable players will find it so difficult. And that's why, in my own opinion, I said it several times that I don't blame Palmer. I don't blame Palm. And I'm saying this, you're going to see that performance when he goes to England. It's going to be different. It's going to be different from what he's playing for Chelsea because we're just inconsistent in terms of keeping players together. You know, that's why I still believe that it's Jackson. If Jackson is in that team today, there might be a sort of difference. Palmer might have quickly integrate into that team as much faster as we think. But like you said, I'm not blaming him from that comment that he made. Of course, he wants, a good deal. He feel like I might not be at the top of my game, but I'm still a decent player. I can still get. But the question is, I don't see Enzo Fernandez leaving Chelsea. Because
really.
who is gonna pay that ridiculous amount of money? We know
There will be a
Madrid will
team.
never come and pay that money. They always look
Listen,
for free transfer. They always look for
even
free transfer. Yeah.
I personally believe Madrid or PSG will come in for the money. Now, do I think it'll be 100 million?
Yeah,
No.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Now, and listen, I understand where you're coming from, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand why you would say I can't see him leaving.
Yeah.
But if Enzo Fernandez pushes for a move away, we've already seen how Blueco are like. Blueco want money. They don't care how they're going to get, they just want money. They'll prefer for Enzo Fernandez, they'll prefer to sell Enzo Fernandez for 70 to 80 million than to keep him around causing havoc to the team, causing media distress because all of this bad publicity, they hate it, they don't like it. So
Yeah.
If Enzo's kicking off, moving like a nuisance, not training with the team, just being disruptive, right? That's gonna bring bad publicity, and they hate that. I mean, look, they try to accuse Enzo Maresca of being a disruptor. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
100%.
so I personally believe if Champions League isn't achieved this season, I can see after the World Cup, especially if he has a good World Cup with Argentina and they go deep in the tournament, I can see him forcing a move away from this club. Do I want us to sell him? Absolutely not. He's one of my favorite players. I love him. He understands what it means to play for Chelsea, and on his day, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. No question about it. But you can't force someone to stay where they don't want to stay. You can't force someone to
Absolutely.
be in a place where they
100%.
don't want to
Yeah.
be. So if he
Hmm.
doesn't want to be there and he's saying, I want a transfer away, Blueco will, personally believe they will grant him that wish and they will let him go. I mean, we saw it with the Jackson situation. They tried to call Jackson back. Jackson insisted he's not going back to Chelsea. He insisted,
Yeah.
I want to go to Bayern Munich on loan. They let him go.
Yeah.
They just
Because
let
they
him go.
don't because they don't care. They don't care about
You don't care, and they don't want
what's gonna happen
bad
to the yeah.
publicity. They don't want that bad publicity because it makes them look bad. Anything that doesn't make them look bad, they will do. Anything that makes them look bad in the slightest, let's just get
Okay.
this done. Let's just obey the players' requests. So I personally believe if Chelsea don't qualify and Argentina have a very, very good tournament, his agent is going to be telling him, we can get
Let's
that ring.
move. Let's move away.
You're too good for this club. Which, again, like I said again, for how the way he's been playing, he's one of the few players that if he was to leave, I'll give him a round of applause and I'll tell him, I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for everything that you've done for this club. Because he doesn't deserve this. He doesn't. Him, Caicedo, Palmer, um, you know, Estevao, Hato, these guys that have actually been playing well this season, they don't deserve
Yeah.
this rubbish. They really don't. They really don't. So
So tomorrow, how do you think we're going into that game? Because of course Chaluba is out, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we lost against PSG. Honestly, I think we don't deserve Chaluba having injury in that kind of a useless game that we were. I don't know. I feel so sorry for him. I hope he come back very strong, but it was just
mm,
unnecessary, bro. We losing that game. We don't have any chance of coming back and losing that sort of player again. You know, I don't know, but how are you seeing us tomorrow in that game in terms of lineup and
uh,
in terms of sorry, in terms of mentality as well? How are you seeing us lining up tomorrow? And
yeah, it's gonna be tough. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think of all the players that we haven't got injured, so I can
yeah,
actually put in. So in goal, I personally believe Sanchez. Right back is going to be if Gusto. It's going to be Gusto, but Gusto
yeah,
was ill. So if Gusto hasn't recovered, I think Hato will play. So let's just say Gusto, assuming that
yeah,
he's recovered. I think the centre back pairing will be Fofana and Mamadou Sarr. I
yeah,
think, and this is, and before I finish my lineup, I'll get onto Sarr quite quickly. Left back, Cucurella. I think the two defensive midfielders or the two holding midfielders, I think we'll have Andre Santos and Caicedo. In the 10, we'll have Enzo. On the right, I personally believe that Estevao will come back. I think he will get a running, like now, some running games. Moutinho did talk about him basically being match fit for Saturday. I think he'll be ready for
yeah,
Saturday,
yeah, 100%.
which I'm looking forward to. I think I've missed him, man. We need him back, honestly, just to give us a bit of joy
Yeah,
in what's been a terrible, terrible, terrible season. On the left, it's going to be Neto, and I think up top will be João Pedro. So I think
job.
that'll.
Yeah, solid lineup to be honest, solid lineup. But the main thing is about mentality on how we start the game. So the
Mm,
Prince is saying that big ups, bro, big ups, the Prince. Are you sure that Chelsea is gonna win Everton tomorrow?
I hope so. I hope so. I can't like now. I'm not
Yeah,
going into games not knowing we're going to win or not. I mean, Everton, we should be saying, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to. I couldn't tell you because, as you said, it depends on what Chelsea comes out tomorrow. Is it going to
yeah,
be a Chelsea that's wanting to redeem themselves after an embarrassing performance, or is it going to be a Chelsea team that's still licking their wounds, still feeling sorry for themselves, and they're going to carry that crap performance over to Everton? What Chelsea are we going to get? I think it's going to be the second, unfortunately. I think it's going to be a Chelsea team that's still hurt by what's happened at the bridge, and they're going to perform horribly. And I think we're going to lose that game tomorrow. I can see it being a 2-0 Everton win. I don't think we're going to get a win. And I think that's the first time that I've predicted a Chelsea loss on this channel. It
yeah.
goes to show how much I don't believe in these guys. I don't believe in this squad. I don't believe in this manager. I really don't. And as I said, I want to speak on Sarr. It's just a disgrace how the way he's been handled. Um, a game like this, he should be starting, but then at the same time, he should have been starting
Against
in
PSG.
in the smaller teams.
Yeah,
That's what I mean in the smaller teams. Sorry, because he's started 2 games this season. He started 2 games for Chelsea since he's come back from the loan.
yeah,
Two biggest games of the season that we had. It was Arsenal in the
and
Prem
PSG.
and PSG. I mean, if that doesn't scream bad man management, I don't know what does. And then
Yeah,
obviously slapping a right back, thinking that he can do a job at right back when quite clearly he isn't a right back. He has a terrible first half. Then you sub him off, kill that basically kills off any sort of confidence he has. you're telling us, yeah, he's going to be a world class player, but you're mishandling talent like that. And I even forgot about one player, Josh Achimpong. You know what? Yeah, I think Josh Achimpong starts ahead of Sarr tomorrow. I even forgot about Josh Achimpong.
Mm.
Now with Chalobah injured, there's absolutely no excuse for Josh Achimpong not to be
Not to
playing
start. Yeah.
from now until the end of the season. If he doesn't play, then sell him or loan him. Do not keep him on that bench. Do not keep him rotting on the sidelines. I don't get it because this board, yeah, the manager, they all like to say, oh yeah, he's the future of the club. Yeah, he's a great talent, but you're not playing him. You're
Mm.
not playing him. If
Yeah.
he's so called this great talent, play him. Let him get a run of games. I prefer to see him and Saar making mistakes towards the back end of the season because
Mm.
I personally believe we're not going to win nothing. I personally believe we're not going to get top four. I prefer to play them two than to be seeing the likes of Fofana and Badiashile and Tosin,
Mm.
playing. Might as well just play them. Let them get a run in games. Let them build a bit of confidence. Let them improve. But no, you're keeping a Chimpong on the sideline, just there, rotting on the sideline. His talent is getting dwindled by every second, and it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. But that's what I
Yeah.
want to say with Saar. Saar, in a game like this, should have been starting since he came back from his loan spell, which was what, the end of the transfer window. We had Wolves, which I don't believe he started. I don't believe he started against Wolves. He came off the
Yeah.
bench. We had Leeds. He didn't start. Hull, he started, to be fair. Burnley, he didn't
Only.
start.
Yeah.
Arsenal, you started him. What I'm trying to say is Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. You could have started
Should
him.
should have been
No,
a good
start him.
opportunity for him
Let
to
him
play.
play against the opposition. Let him get comfortable to English football
Yeah.
because it's not easy to transition from French football, which is a bit more slow pace and less physical. Which is, to be fair, it's not that physical compared to English football, which is
Yeah.
athletic, fast, quick, strength, and very, very physical. You know,
Yeah.
but no, you're throwing him right into the deep end, letting him get chewed and spit out.
I
Terrible
mean,
man.
yeah.
Absolutely man
I
management.
think it's one of the most terrible things that you can see in terms of management, like you said, throwing that sort of young talent in that big two big games of the season. It's just like you're exposing him. Look at the goal
Literally,
that was scored
literally.
by Karajvela. Honestly, I said it like I'm not gonna blame this guy. As much as you want me to blame Sar, I'm not gonna blame him.
No, and anyone
Because
that's
he
blaming him
doesn't
again,
deserve to be in this
it's not
game.
fair.
You've got to protect these boys. You've got to
Yeah,
the man management was terrible. This guy wasn't supposed to start that game. If Archie Pong should have made that sort of mistake, I don't think it would have been ridiculous because Archie Pong is used to the club is this, but this young guy that
he's
people are
been there.
expecting a lot from him, he's
Yeah.
trying to do his best. We can see he's trying to do his best, but you're exposing him, and the terrible part is taking him off in the first half. We know what taking a player off in the first half means. It
Mm,
means you're just not good enough. You're not
mm,
good enough to be in this game. So, which can also kill the morale of the players. Honestly, like you said, we've played a couple of mid-table team like Burnley, Leeds, and stuff where this guy can literally show up his talent, can be so confident. But when you're playing at PSG, to me, like you said, it's a big game. And having considered that goal, I know this might probably have an effect on this guy throughout the season.
mm. It
Yeah,
will. It will.
yeah. So, but going forward, um, we've got to like maybe be positive tomorrow because obviously Everton as well has not really been in the top of their game. But what sort of mentality, if we want to get a win tomorrow, what sort of mentality? Because I know David Moyes is one of those genius managers I know, and the way he has managed Everton in the recent, months. I mean, when he took over was absolutely amazing. What should we be doing tomorrow to get a win? Because obviously, it's still an open play. We can still win at the way we can still do it. What sort of mentality do you think we should be going for tomorrow? Because
I think
I don't want to see us lose. I don't want to see us lose because it's gonna
we
be
need a win.
shambles, bro.
We
It's
need a
gonna be
win.
shambles, bro. So what sort of
Literally.
mentality do you think we need
If
to?
we lose, it's gonna get ugly real quick. I can literally visualize the Vans booing off Rosinha and telling him to f off. but he needs to try and rally these guys up and let them understand that, listen, we're in a top four battle. We need to win every single game that we can win from now to the end of the season. There's not long left. Let's try and dig deep and win. How as you said, Moyes, he's an underrated manager and he's a smart manager. And he will know that they're gonna have to park the bus. They're gonna park that bus, they're gonna play
Yeah,
deep because they know that we can't break low blocks and he's gonna attack us through the fast break. And that's Moyes' bread and butter. That's what he's good at. He's good at organizing defenses, making them
yeah,
compact in the low block, and then attacking and then attacking using fast breaks. That's his style of football. So for him to face against a Chelsea team that's quite deflated and doesn't know how to break a low block, it's going to be bread and butter for David Moyes. It's going to be bread and butter for him tomorrow. But as you said, I don't want us to lose. But I can't see us winning. Under all the circumstances that we've spoken about and what we're going through, I can't see us getting a win against Everton tomorrow. And as you said, it's going to get real, real ugly because again, I've already mentioned the fixtures that we have coming up after Port Vale. We've got the two Manchester clubs.
right.
Like,
So
how are we gonna win? I don't see us. I don't see us beating neither of those clubs the way we've been playing. So it's gonna, yeah.
mm,
Tomorrow we're gonna have to get a win, hopefully, man. And I hope these players turn up tomorrow and realize the severity of a defeat
yeah,
if we get tomorrow, and they
yeah,
turn
because
up as
yeah,
that they
because
need to
it's never
themselves
too late.
on the side they
We
produce.
still have. It's never too late. We still have 8 games to go. We can still, end the season with a little bit of compensation to the fans. At least,
Mm,
last season that's what I'm really surprised about. I mean, I'm really furious because last season we finished really really well. You know, a season before last season we finished really really well. But what's
mm.
the hope this season? I hope it's not gonna be that season where we're just gonna be so disappointing throughout this, and that's what I'm scared of right now, bro. I don't know what's gonna happen the next 7 games. I don't know where because I won't believe to see us in that sort of position where we're seventh, eighth in the table. Because not having a Champions League game next season is one of the most terrible things you can experience. Maybe playing Europa League or Conference League again. You know,
Listen, I've already
it's
I've told you already.
it's gonna be sad, bro. It's gonna be
I
sad,
can
bro.
deal. I can deal with Europa League to an extent. I don't want us to play it, but I can deal with it. Conference League, I don't
Ah,
want. I don't want that. We made it very, very clear after we won that Conference League. We never, ever, ever want to be in that competition.
hundred
That
percent.
competition like respectfully, that competition is a waste of time. And I'm trying to understand UEFA's logic with that, but it's a waste of time. It's
Mm,
honestly such a waste of time, especially for the English clubs. Because no offense to the other nations and stuff, but
yeah,
look at the past performances of the English clubs in that competition. You know, Aston Villa reached the semi-final. West Ham won the competition. We won
competition.
the competition. Crystal Palace have just got into the quarterfinals of that competition.
Yeah,
Leicester were in the semi-finals of that competition. A Leicester team that's possibly going to go down to League One. Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
strength of the mid-table English clubs are far superior to the strength of the mid-table clubs in the other domestic leagues and the
Absolutely.
top teams. It's a waste of time. We
It's a
shouldn't
waste
be
of
in that
time, bro.
conference league, and
Yeah,
us winning that conference league, I think we got the same amount of money compared to a team that finished dead last in the Champions League knockouts, in the Champions League group stage.
yeah.
It's a waste of time. It doesn't
It's a
help.
waste of time, and
But but a positive to Chelsea not qualifying for the Champions League is that it will hurt the pockets of Blueco, and they might decide that they want to switch up their tactic, which might help. That might be a positive. But
mm,
yeah, no, I don't want Conference League football. Europa League, I can kind of allow it because there are some decent teams there,
yeah,
but no
absolutely
Conference League
competitive. Yeah.
whatsoever. I'll prefer for us not to play in Europe. No chance.
Yeah. So, what's your score prediction for tomorrow? And again, let's really talk about this before we go. What should we be careful about tomorrow? Because Everton has got some special player, Iliman Ndiaye, Kelvin Disbury. All these guys are on fire. What should we? And now the problem is, and McNeil, McNeil is back as well. That guy can be
Yeah,
so dangerous.
Pickford.
So,
Yeah.
Pickford is there as well. They've got one more advantage ahead of us in those areas. And of course, our defensive is shambles. What should we be?
very
What
good
should
as well.
we be careful about tomorrow, at least to have that decent game?
They're gonna sit back. They're gonna sit back. They're gonna absorb pressure. They'll happily sit back for 90 minutes and they'll happily frustrate us and they'll attack us on the fast break.
Hmm.
Um, Rusinha needs to go into that game not trying to play his style of football because we've quite clearly seen that his style of football is havoc. It's almost like potch ball. There's no one in the midfield. It's almost like Caicedo's almost doing like a two-man job in that midfield.
Hmm.
Fence is wide open. You're telling the defenders to push higher up the pitch, play more audacious passes. You're trying to make the goalkeeper, get involved in build-up, which is absolutely ridiculous. You have just got to try and go back to how the way Moresco was playing, which is just being defensively compact,
Yeah.
just playing around. Just when we get the ball, just pass it around, pass it around, pass it around, and find an opening. Because we are going to get the ball, but it can't get to a point where it's a basketball game where we're trying to play quick, throwing the ball back to them, they're throwing the ball back to us, we're throwing the ball back to them. It can't be that. So we're gonna have to try and play a very boring game of football. People
Hmm.
complain about that, but sorry, that's just the most effective way. And Chelsea's always been a boring club. Every single time we win trophies, we've actually been a pretty boring club to watch.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's just how we are. That's just how we are as a football club. So we're just gonna have to go into that game tomorrow. Boring. Keep the ball, pass the ball around, make some openings, try and create an opening. Once the opening is created, we exploit it and try and finish the game. We're gonna have to try and do a smash and grab win, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But as I said earlier, I think it's gonna be a 2-0 Everton win. I can't see us winning that game. I don't think Rousini is gonna do what I've said. I think he's gonna
Yeah, I really understand from frustration
so yeah, I
because
think
the
Dewsbury Hall
problem is
seems first and then
I
try and
think
injure.
for we fans that we seeing the game live, maybe something is really changing. Like maybe the way we see what's going on is quite different from people that are watching outside because it looks like we lost so much confidence in this team than people that are watching maybe around the world. I'm not being you know what do I say, but for us it looks like we're seeing that this club is just not good enough.
It's not.
If I had to say it in deep of my mind, I think we're gonna get in trouble tomorrow. But I still believe that we can turn up. We can
Yeah,
turn up.
you're
So
a positive guy, man.
yeah, I'm hoping that tomorrow we're gonna try and get a win because it's not realistic because having lost Chaluba and Rhys James, bro, I feel like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because tomorrow you're not even rest assured of what you're gonna. We're just predicting our own lineup. Rosinho might come with something ridiculous tomorrow. We might be seeing Badiashile and seeing some sort of Santos Casado again in the midfield, which is ridiculous to me. You can't be playing Everton and throwing in two central defenders. I don't see how it works out. But I want to be like positive. I see us winning the game tomorrow, and I see us
Oh no, Cash,
gaining
you're
our rhythm
crazy, man.
back. I see us gaining our fight back because I want us to finish this season, very, very productive, qualifying for Champions League, maybe seeing us at the Wembley in final of FA Cup. And yet we can maybe wrap it up with FA Cup as well. So winning the FA Cup and qualifying for Champions League, up the Chelsea.
It'll still be a bad season either way, though. That's the thing. That's why I don't really want them things to happen. Because if those things happen, people are
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Oh, it's been a good season. Yeah,
And
it's been a
Blueco are
great
gonna are still
season."
gonna believe
You
that they're
know,
doing the right
and
thing.
that's still gonna protect Blueco.
Yeah.
So, we need to finish. I'm the opposite, and I know it sounds bad mind, but we like I need us to finish as low as possible and not win that FA Cup because then all the energy, all the publicity. I think fans will start to wake up. The fans that are still in the Lulu land will start to wake up and realize this
Yeah.
is a bigger problem than it is. Us getting
Yeah.
top four and getting that FA Cup is the cycle. It's going to repeat that cycle. The same cycle that Arsenal were in before they started competing. It was
Yeah.
literally, let's just do enough to get top four. We can get an odd trophy here and there, which was the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And if we get them two, that's cool. That's cool. Like, let's just rinse and repeat. Let's just keep on doing it. Rinse, repeat, recycle. Let's just keep on doing it. And that is a dangerous place to be. And we don't want to be in that place. We want to be competing for the big trophies. We want to be up there with the best teams in the world. We don't want to be that mediocre bantam team fallen giants. So if we're not careful, we that's going to be our no, it's not even if we're not careful, that's going to be our reality from now until they sell up, which is 6 years' time. And obviously we
Yeah,
don't want that to be the case. So
absolutely,
I understand you want top four in FA Cup. I would love that as well. But if we get that, Blue Car are getting protected. They will get protected.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
for us Chelsea fans, and I know it sounds mad for me to say it, the best outcome that this season could have is us finishing eighth, ninth, getting no European football, no trophy, because right then and then the energy and the blame and the criticism and the scrutiny
It's gonna be
will
going
all be
straight
on
away to the blue
It'll
coat,
be Win
and
Stanley,
that
it'll
way
do
they
it,
can
it'll be on
start.
Barley, it'll be all
Yeah,
of them.
and from that way they can only have two options: either thinking of selling off the club to someone that is serious, or changing the project, stupid project that
Yeah,
they're
changing
trying
the
to build.
project, changing the strategy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because I think the last season achievement really gave them extra wings to feel
E-
like, yes, bro, we're
Exactly.
doing the right job here, man.
With this as well. This was what helped
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
This
man.
is what helped
So
them. That Club World Cup trophy helped
yeah,
cover all the issues that we had.
yeah,
Maresca wanted a centre back. Shut up, Maresca. We know what we're doing. We won a Club World Cup. We are in the top four.
mm,
You are this popular because of us.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? That club,
yeah,
as you said, that Club World Cup and the Conference League title
yeah,
covered up a lot of it. It covered up a lot of problems at the club. It
yeah.
plastered
And that's
problems.
and that's what the prince just said. The World Club Cup when deceived the owners and directors a lot because they all thought they
Yeah.
actually doing well. And Maresca requested for an experienced defender. They failed. To me, I am not expecting anything. The
I
prince
think
that
it was
always
just.
saying, yeah,
I don't even think it was just a defender. I mean, to be fair, I've been screaming for an experienced defender even before the Colwill injury because I wasn't too convinced with Colwill in my but like that's just me. I've been always screaming and we need an experienced defender. I've always screamed that. I've always screamed that we need a goalkeeper. You know, I think Maresca asked for a goalkeeper, but they told him, listen, you've got internal resources, use them. Because when we were linked with Manyan, it was reported that Maresca was very, 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 very interested. He was extremely on board with this signing. So I know with that alone just tells me he wanted a goalkeeper.
yeah.
I think he wanted a midfielder. I think he wanted another winger. But quite clearly, the board, the sporting directors, they think they know best. And they told him, shut up and use what you're given with internal solutions.
And that's where we find ourselves today. Absolutely disturbing. We're not just at the level yet. And so, guys, uh, thank you so much, Casey. This is where we're gonna be wrapping it up for today, for the match preview. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. It was a top one. If you have stitched around all through this match preview, thank you so much. A lot of comments. I'm sorry we can't bring everything up, but there are quite a few ones that we've talked about. I hope you really enjoying it. Don't forget to like and share the video. That's the only way the videos can go viral, like we all know. If you have not yet subscribed, very important. Please be part of this family. Um, let's keep growing as a family. Let's keep, pushing up our voices, and that's the only way we can bring this football club to where it belongs. Thank you so much, Casey, for this one, and yeah, we'll see you guys on to the next one. Peace and love.
Up the Chelsea.
Up
Up
the
the
chair.
Chelsea.